Okay, so welcome everyone to the May 2025 session of Community Health Learning Collective, also known as CHLC. My name is Maureen Burns. Myself and my colleague Candice Draw are the two facilitators of this group. If you are new to this group, we just want to let you know that you're most welcome. This group is designed to be a shared online learning space primarily geared toward community health workers, promotoras de salud, CHRs, but also for our allies. So those folks who may work with us, adjacent to us, or just support the work that we do. And it's designed to be a space where we can come together in a virtual environment and learn from some really amazing speakers. So I'm very excited today to welcome our May session speaker. Her name is Dr. Tremaine Butler DeLong. Today's session is Building Habits for a Healthier Body, Practical Strategies for Physical Wellness. So this session is going to talk about how we can utilize healthy lifestyle habits to prevent chronic disease. And so we're really excited to welcome Dr. Butler DeLong. She is a cultural anthropologist, a Mayo Clinic certified wellness coach, a wellness consultant, and an entrepreneur. She holds an MA and she also received a PhD in cultural anthropology from the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor. And in 2007, she founded Anthro Logic LLC to help people achieve healthier skin without harmful chemicals and preservatives. She also founded Transformawell, a 501(c) non-for-profit organization dedicated to increasing health equity, eliminating health disparities through education, empowerment, outreach, and collaboration with local organizations. So we are so thrilled to welcome Dr. Butler DeLong and so grateful to her for sharing her knowledge with us today. Please take it away.
Thank you so much, Maureen. I'm so happy to be here today to speak with you guys about building habits for a healthier body and talk about some practical strategies for physical wellness. So I just want to welcome you and thank you for spending this lunch hour with me this afternoon. So I just wanted to share a little bit more about myself and thank Maureen for that introduction. As she mentioned, I'm an anthropologist and I'm also a Mayo Clinic certified wellness coach and an entrepreneur. And in my professional life, I've spent a lot of time teaching over the years. I've taught over 20 years as an adjunct professor in the social sciences. Developing courses in different areas of the social sciences, mainly cultural anthropology, even some sociology courses and some interdisciplinary classes, as well as teaching in the Masters of Public Policy program. And most recently, teaching in entrepreneurship at the Weatherhead School of Management at Case Western University. So I've developed and taught a sustainable entrepreneurship class there. So that was interesting, given my sort of long career of teaching in the social sciences. Some of the topics that I've taught around have been Native American cultures, African cultures, race and ethnic identity, qualitative research methods, and sort of a variety of topical courses and sort of survey courses. And I'm also a mom of four. So I've got four kids, and so they keep me busy. And I'm founder and CEO of Logic, which I founded in 2007. As sort of a busy mom, one of the things I like to do is to visit spas to rejuvenate myself. And at the time, I found there weren't a lot of spas that had all natural products that were sort of non-toxic and give you the results you really wanted from a spa. And so that sort of inspired me to, I was someone who liked to make my own sort of natural treatments at home. And I thought that I could use my background in anthropology to develop my own line of skincare. So I sort of use my background in researching what different cultures around the world have been using traditionally on their skin, and I was inspired to found Anthrospologic. And so I developed this product line that is really designed to give anti-aging results and spa quality results without any toxic chemicals that can really be harmful to the body. So all of our products are preservative-free, chemical-free, and they've been used by estheticians in spa treatments for giving facials. They've also fortunately been featured in several press outlets. We just were on the call with Wellness Magazine. They're doing another feature on the products. And they've been in NBC News and ABC News, as well as in the gift bags at the Grammy Awards one year. And so the products is something that, we developed initially, and then we have branched out more recently to focus more on holistic health and wellness. So really the goal of our company is to help you feel better both inside and out. And so on the inside, we developed a Healthier Body Wellness Academy, which is sort of a metabolic renewals wellness program that really helps people to prevent and manage chronic diseases. So focusing on obesity, hypertension, diabetes, people can join this program. It's a membership program, get resources and the support they need to actually craft their own wellness journey and to really receive that guidance to help to prevent these chronic illnesses and to manage them with holistic methods and without the use of medications, which can lead to some harmful side effects. So we integrated the Healthier Body Wellness Academy, which is another line of business that we have. And then we also do consulting with organizations who want to start their own wellness initiatives. So more recently, we've worked a lot with the University of Illinois as a client. We have worked with them on developing a youth wellness initiative. And so a colleague of mine who is a dean at the College of Medicine at U of I, we work together on developing curriculum for youth to train them as community health workers, to be resources to their communities. So we actually trained them through a partnership with One Summer Chicago, which was amazing. And we are also worked on developing wellness centers in CPS schools. So those were two projects that I worked on, sort of co-developing and strategizing around and curating some of the resources that we include in the wellness centers to help students to heal from trauma or, just deal with stress and cope with anxiety. And then the last thing we're doing currently is we're actually working on a cookbook together that I'm co-authoring that helps to bring sort of healthy recipes that we're hoping to, we have a proposal right now with the University of Illinois Press. So those are some of the projects that we've worked on sort of the organization side. And finally, I am founder of Transforma Well, which is a 501(c)(3) nonprofit. And really the goal of Transforma Well is to help to educate people and do outreach in local communities through going to churches, schools, partnering with nonprofit organizations to help do education around chronic disease prevention and really help to educate people about healthy strategies that they can use to prevent and manage some of these chronic diseases. So the goal is to promote health equity, especially in underserved communities that don't have access to a lot of resources to manage health and wellness, especially in a holistic way. So that's just a little bit about me. I want to talk a little bit about what our objectives are for today. And so really the goals are to explore this idea of wellness. We are sort of, my company is sort of a health and wellness lifestyle brand. And then one of the goals of Transforma Well is to really promote wellness. So we're going to talk about that idea. And then we are going to explain why healthy lifestyle habits are really crucial for building a healthier body and preventing chronic diseases. We're also going to explore the role of nutrition and sort of healthy movement and examine the importance of stress management and support systems and the roles that those can play. And then we're going to discuss some tools that we can use to help sustain some of those healthy habits. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about what is wellness. Wellness is a hot topic and word that is sort of out there these days, but what exactly is wellness? Wellness, we say physical wellness equals sort of a healthy body through regular exercise, proper nutrition, and adequate rest. It's really about feeling good physically, mentally, and emotionally. So we're going to explore some of these strategies to help you achieve physical wellness. But wellness itself has several dimensions, and different people who sort of define wellness in different ways will tell you different dimensions of wellness. The National Wellness Institute actually defines it as a process of becoming aware of and making choices towards a more successful existence. So wellness can include all of these different dimensions: physical, intellectual, emotional, social. No matter how many really dimensions you define it using, really the goal is to become more aware of and making choices towards a more successful existence. And wellness is a process. It's something that is ongoing. It's not sort of a static state that people can necessarily achieve. Mhm. So why should we actually focus on wellness? Wellness is important because it can really help us to prevent chronic diseases and illnesses. And chronic diseases are actually now the number one cause of death and disability in the United States. About 60% of Americans actually have a chronic disease. And even, more people have more than one chronic disease. So there are a lot of comorbidities as well around chronic illness. One person dies every 33 seconds in the United States just from cardiovascular disease alone. And this is according to the CDC. So many chronic diseases are actually caused by a very short list of risk factors. And these really include behavior like tobacco use, poor nutrition, physical inactivity, and excessive use of alcohol. So there's really sort of a short list of factors that we see that contribute to chronic disease. The good news is that all of these factors can really be prevented through lifestyle strategies and changes in your lifestyle habits. So reducing our risk factors through our daily habits, through diet, exercise, and stress management can actually play a crucial role in either preventing or promoting chronic disease. So it's important to manage our habits in a way that we are actually preventing chronic diseases rather than promoting those chronic diseases. So that is sort of the good thing, is that it is within our control to sort of prevent these chronic diseases that are now the number one cause of death in the United States. So what are some ways that we can do that? What are some strategies that we can use? One really important strategy is to set goals and to think about using goals that are actually SMART goals. So I like to say get smart. So when we say get smart, we set goals that are specific. So we're using specific sort of things that we're describing, not vague goals. Get pretty specific in terms of your goals. Also goals that are measurable, like how are you going to measure your progress toward this specific goal? And then we want goals that are actually achievable, meaning that not some necessarily pie in the sky goal that we don't think we can ever reach. What are some achievable goals that we can actually set? And then goals that are relevant, making sure that they're something that we can actually achieve and that's relevant to the outcome that we want to attain. And then also, we need those goals to be time bound. So, set a specific time frame within that sort of goal setting can give you an endpoint that you can continue to work towards. So, it's important to think about goals in sort of a time bound way as well. Another important factor to consider when we're thinking about strategies that we can use to prevent chronic diseases is to focus on nutrition. And nutrition is a very important piece that people often sort of ignore or gloss over, but it's important in terms of managing one of the biggest chronic diseases, which is obesity. And obesity is related to a lot of other chronic illnesses such as hypertension and diabetes. And so, what most people don't realize is actually 80% of weight loss depends on diet alone and not necessarily exercise. So, a lot of people think that they can sort of eat whatever they want and then go work out, but that does not account for all of the energy that is taken in the diet. It's very difficult to burn off all of those calories and energy that are accounted for through the diet. So, focusing on our nutrition helps to boost our energy levels as well as our immune function. So, not only does it impact our weight, but it also helps our bodies to heal from other diseases and other illnesses that we might be facing. Focusing on nutrition can also help to boost one's metabolism. So you can burn fat more efficiently when eating certain foods versus eating other foods. Some foods can actually help to slow down the metabolism and make it a little bit more sluggish. And then focusing on nutrition also helps to reduce or prevent some of these factors that can lead to chronic illnesses. So it's important to be eating foods, as I mentioned, that can be healing and actually prevent some of these illnesses, such as cancer, which is tied to a lot of the processed foods that people are eating. And when we're focusing on nutrition, there's actually a big myth that one has to eat less to lose weight. So, a lot of sort of nutritional strategies focus on a calorie deficit. However, what's really important is balance. Balance is very key to sort of fuel your diet with fuel your body with more of a balanced diet that's rich in fat, in fruits, proteins and whole grains and healthy fats, not sort of fats that are not going to help the body in any way. So, the most important thing is this balance and to avoid processed foods and excessive sugar and sodium intake. Those sugar and sodium can really exacerbate the impact of leaning towards chronic diseases, spiking our blood sugar level. Can exacerbate hypertension. So, it's important to avoid these processed foods that are very high in those things. One of the things that we help people to do through our Anthropologic Healthier Body Wellness Academy is to provide support and teach people how to eat healthier while actually still enjoying their food and feeling full. As I mentioned, one doesn't have to actually eat less, but choosing the right foods can make a huge difference in terms of the energy levels that you have and your body's ability to sort of naturally heal itself, as well as to burn fat efficiently. So it's really more about the combination of foods that one eats. And here, balance is shown in this sort of graphic that I have that the USDA promotes through their My Plate campaign. And what they recommend is that half of our plates are usually fruits and vegetables, and we have a small amount of protein and about a quarter of it being grains. And we definitely recommend whole grains when people are eating grains. So balance is key, and having those foods that will give you the energy levels as well as the vitamins you need will help to boost your immune system based on some of the current research. And that's one of the reasons that we focus on nutrition a lot in our program in terms of helping people to learn how specific foods will affect their body and to eat them in a way which will be palatable, because healthy food does not have to be boring or not good or not flavorful, but using creative ways to eat foods that will help to fuel the body. Another important thing to consider in terms of a strategy to focus on is healthy movement. Movement is important because movement can help burn calories to manage weight. And so you can burn a certain amount of those calories, which will improve with weight and can actually help to boost the metabolism. And it also helps to improve our brain health. So most people don't realize the connection between sort of mental wellness and healthy movement, because it sort of releases hormones that are feel good hormones in our brains when we're moving our bodies consistently. It also helps to strengthen bones and muscles, and sort of improving your ability to do everyday activities. As people age, they tend to lose muscle mass, and then it becomes more difficult as people get older to just do everyday activities that they're used to doing. And this is because the muscles get weaker as people get older. So movement helps to strengthen those bones and muscles to prevent falls and fractures later on in life. Movement also helps to reduce the risk of chronic diseases. It's just been shown that healthier movement is key and beneficial in preventing some chronic diseases. And sitting still too long can actually damage your body and shorten your lifespan. Many Americans and in Western countries spend the majority of their time during the day sitting, and that is actually very detrimental to our bodies. It has been linked to diabetes, poor heart health, weight gain, depression, dementia. So research is just showing that this prolonged sitting on a daily basis has really poorly impacted people's health over the long run. So it's important to get some healthy movement during the day. Mm. And that doesn't always take the form of going to the gym. People feel like they have to carve out time, 30 minutes or an hour to be able to go to the gym. And that is a deterrent to getting any sort of healthy movement. Most of our movement can take the form of what we call non-exercise activity thermogenesis, or NEAT. And this is the energy expended for everything that is not sleeping, essentially, or eating, or, sort of sports like exercise. So, for example, taking the stairs instead of the elevator, going for a brisk walk during breaks, or participating in recreational activities can really make a significant difference in terms of getting a little bit more movement into your daily lifestyle. I like to incorporate a mix of cardio, strength training, and flexibility exercises when doing my workouts, because this combination overall improves fitness levels and can prevent boredom. Another reason that people get deterred by working out is they can get bored with doing the same thing over and over, walking on the treadmill or using the elliptical machine. Think of more creative ways that you can incorporate cardio through dancing, taking a walk outside, or whatever activity you actually enjoy doing can really prevent boredom and keep you more active. Mhm. The Anthropologic Healthier Body Academy also helps to provide a lot of whole body workouts that have been researched to be more effective, because it's important to be sort of efficient when you're short on time. And I know me personally, I don't have a lot of time to spend and dedicate to actually working out. So I try to get a lot of movement throughout my day and incorporate short exercises that I know are going to be the most efficient. And some exercises can actually be more stressful on the body than beneficial. So it's important to know the right types of exercises that will really get you the benefits that you're looking for in a minimal amount of time. So that's one of the things that we focus on, is trying to show people healthier ways they can incorporate movement, but also maximize the time and not have to spend a lot of energy in terms of getting that healthy movement. And then another important strategy to consider is hydration. And staying hydrated throughout the day is important in terms of making sure that you're drinking plenty of water. And this is something that sort of people hear, but not necessarily follow through on. I know myself included, in the past, it's been difficult to get adequate amount of hydration throughout the day without sort of focusing on counting different cups of water. One thing that helped me was to just buy a large water bottle, like a stainless steel water bottle, that I drink throughout the day. So I know that I'm getting the right amount of water. Hydration is really important because it actually regulates body temperature. It can aid in digestion, and it really helps to just maintain overall health and well-being. And this is important because each cell in our bodies is actually composed of about 70% water. And our brains actually have a higher water content. Our brains are actually about 95% water. So this is a reason that when people are dehydrated, they sort of experience brain fog or headaches, and they may not even realize that that could be due to dehydration and not getting enough water during the day. So just to maintain our basic cell function within our bodies and to help our cells work more efficiently, and that in terms of will be in terms of burning energy and calories efficiently, it's important to stay hydrated. So one strategy is to, carry a water bottle, as I mentioned, which helps me with you to sort of remind yourself to drink water on a regular basis. Most Americans are actually, about 70% of them are chronically dehydrated. So it's a big problem in our country where people are not really focusing on prioritizing staying hydrated. Another effect of dehydration, along with sort of brain fog and headaches, would be high blood pressure. It actually can contribute to high blood pressure, muscle cramps, low energy, just not having energy throughout the day. And eventually, it could actually lead to kidney problems, which could be a serious issue later in life. So it's important to try to focus on having some adequate hydration. And water is just one way to get that hydration. We can also get hydration by eating foods that are rich in water. So vegetables like celery, cucumber, watermelon, they all have a high water content. So a certain percentage of your hydration can actually come from the food that you're eating. Another important strategy to consider is to get rest and to really manage your stress. Uh, One thing that I have noticed, and many people may have experienced this, is that stress eating can actually sabotage your fitness goals. So, a lot of people tend to eat when they're stressed out more or when they're not feeling hungry, just as a way to kind of alleviate some of that stress that they're feeling. And that can actually sabotage their sort of long-term goals of getting more fit. Chronic stress can also contribute to and exacerbate health problems. So we know that when we're stressed for a long period of time, that just puts more pressure on the body and on all the organs, and that can eventually lead to other issues such as high blood pressure and some other, just leave the body more vulnerable to some of these other chronic diseases. We also will see higher levels of cortisol in the body, which can actually impede weight loss as well. So we don't want those stress hormones to prevent the body from efficiently sort of burning fat the way that it should be. Um, so one way that we can do sort of manage stress or sort of keep ourselves more relaxed and calm is to practice stress relief techniques. And some of these techniques can include meditation, deep breathing, or even some self-care rituals or yoga. I find it really soothing and calming to practice yoga. That's something that I've done just over the years. It actually helped me to get through graduate school to kind of de-stress and relax to practice some yoga. Deep breathing is part of that. That's sort of an integral part of Ayurveda or Ayurvedic practices, which is the sort of Indian holistic medicine using natural methods. And also having some self-care rituals. One of my rituals was like visiting spas, and that was one of my um, sort of inspirations for creating my product line. And even the products incorporate some aspects of healing in terms of aromatherapy. So every product has essential oils rather than artificial fragrances, and the essential oils actually produce an aromatherapeutic effect, and that can help to actually relieve stress and anxiety. So allowing your body time to repair and recover after workouts is also very important. And this can happen through getting adequate amount of sleep. So sleep is important in terms of just the body being able to regenerate and repair itself. And I recommend people get at least 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep each night. Now, this can be a challenge if one is not adequately managing stress, because stress can sometimes keep us awake at night, focusing on things that are going on in our lives. So, having those stress relief techniques can actually help to improve the quality of your sleep overall, and sort of the way that you can adequately fall asleep just to begin with. Another way, another sort of strategy is to get support from a program like the Anthropologics Healthier Body program. We actually help you with some figuring out how you can integrate stress relief techniques into your weekly routine or into your daily routine that can help you to take time out to rest and regenerate. And that actually is part of your wellness plan and your program. So, managing stress is important for your overall health and wellness, reaching your physical fitness goals, as well as sort of just managing your rest habits overall. So, all of these things holistically will impact your health and wellness. Another strategy that one can use is to get some accountability and having a support system. And so when you're trying to sort of implement some of these strategies, it's important to maybe get some support from people around you that are interested in helping improve your accountability around practicing some of these strategies. So we recommend getting an accountability partner. It can be a friend, it can be a family member or a spouse or partner. Join a fitness community like Anthropologics Healthier Body Wellness Academy. We actually provide a wellness support system through our community, our online community. Get motivation and encouragement from your accountability partner during your wellness journey. This can be a way to really stay motivated, to stay on track if you have someone going through this with you, or if you join a community of like-minded people who are actually on the same wellness path. So it just has been proven that people tend to be more successful with implementing their goals and their strategies when they have some sort of level of accountability, and that is through a support system and the network that they have around them. Also, just view setbacks as opportunities for growth. So that means sort of having a growth mindset around some of the strategies that you're trying to implement. So rather than getting discouraged and thinking of everything that may be a setback as a failure, thinking of it as an opportunity to grow and an opportunity to learn and continue to experiment with different ways to sort of reach your goals. Okay. And overall, it's important to stay committed to your long-term goals. So as mentioned, you may have some setbacks, but if you view that as an opportunity to grow, then you can stay persistent and stay committed to reaching the long-term goal overall. Mhm. Another important strategy to implement is to actually track your progress. And tracking your progress regularly is a way for you to stay motivated to move forward. We find that it's important for our clients to kind of stay mindful of what they're actually doing in terms of their progression towards those goals. So a way to do that would be to keep a journal. You can use a fitness app, or even just take photos to document your journey of how you're progressing along towards your goals. So keeping this record can just help you to see your progress towards that goal, and it can also help you to celebrate your achievements along the way. And this is a great way to sort of maintain momentum and maintain excitement toward getting towards your sort of end goals. We actually provide, through our Healthier Body Wellness Academy, the tools and support to help you track your progress, and you even earn rewards as you move through the program. So one way you can do is to sort of, or to help motivate you, is to reward yourself as you move through your process to reach your goals and you're tracking your progress. Mhm. Now, how can we sort of change some of the habits that we already have? I want to talk a little bit about understanding how habits are actually formed. Now, we're talking about implementing strategies that can really impact your sort of habits that you have overall and sort of your overall habits. So, just understanding how habits are formed can help us to actually change some of the habits that we actually already have. So, habits are automatic behaviors that often occur without any conscious thought. These are things that we kind of do automatically without thinking about them. And understanding the habit loop can actually help us to modify our behaviors effectively. So, how can we actually start to move from some of those unconscious things that we do on a regular basis to incorporate new things that become a habit? So, the habit loop actually consists of three components. There's a cue, which is really the trigger that initiates the habit. And then there's the routine, the sort of behavior or the action itself. What are you actually doing? And then there's the positive outcome or satisfaction that sort of reinforces the habit. Okay. So we have to think about how we can sort of incorporate this in terms of these strategies that we want to use to change our overall habits. Okay. And one way, as mentioned, is if you're tracking your outcomes, then you can have that positive satisfaction or reward that then reinforces the initiation of this new habit. So, some tips for creating healthier habits include setting those clear, achievable goals. Okay, that's for instance, these are your fitness goals or your healthy eating goals. Beginning with small changes to avoid feeling overwhelmed. So start maybe with one thing rather than trying to change your overall lifestyle all at once. Also, consider tracking your progress as it enhances motivation and accountability. And then have a support system or build a support system around you. And that can include joining a community like the Healthier Body Wellness Academy or getting someone in your network to be your support system. And then finally, consider the importance of self-care. And so self-care is another way to sort of motivate ourselves to move through and sort of reward ourselves for making these important healthy lifestyle changes. So in conclusion, really building a healthier body requires some dedication, some consistency, and some patience. It's not something that happens overnight, but with some dedication and consistency and patience, it can actually occur. And by incorporating these practical strategies into your lifestyle, you can actually change your habits and improve your physical wellness and essentially enjoy a happier, healthier life overall. So one of our key takeaways is that really the choices that you make on a daily basis can have a profound impact on your overall well-being. And it can actually impact whether chronic diseases are prevented or promoted and sort of the overall quality of your life. So I want to thank you for joining me through this conversation, and I love to invite any questions or comments that you guys might have.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for sharing all of that. That was really wonderful. One comment that came up in the chat earlier, and I believe it was when you were like on one of the first couple slides about like 80% of weight loss is due to diet.
Mhm.
I kind of just wanted to like raise uh I guess like the goal is health, right?
Mhm.
And not weight loss. And it just kind of came up in the chat about like obesity being linked to a lot of different factors. You know, some folks, despite having a healthy diet and exercising, are still going to be classified as obese. I personally have like some problems with the use of BMI being used to classify people as obese. So I just wanted to give you an opportunity to maybe give a little bit more context there about like when you think about being well, are you linking that with weight in some way?
Well, I think that I'm linking it more with overall health and sort of just some of the research around, um, and like you said, BMI can be, it's a measure that can be tricky because weight can actually be linked to muscle mass and not necessarily fat. And so it's really when and it's not even necessarily linked to overall health because people who are not classified as obese can still have a lot of belly fat, which is not healthy. And so that is something, it's really about the location of the fat cells and how they are impacting the body and one's overall health. And so obesity is something that is considered sort of an epidemic in the United States because of our Western diet, and that has just been linked to a lot of health problems overall. And it's contributing to the issue of obesity. And so that's why diet is so important in sort of recognizing, especially the amount of processed foods that people are eating, because those have been linked to not only obesity, but even mental, depression and some other health issues that people are seeing. And so it's really about sort of overall health and nutrition and people's ability to sort of tap into that through their diet. And we are just finding more and more that diet is linked to so many other health conditions and health issues.
Thank you for that. And I want to open it up to others. If people have questions, feel free to come off of mute and share.
Mhm.
I know for myself, weight loss years ago, I started off really, really slow and, built my stamina up. But, as much, I have some chronic conditions and exercise has really been a lifesaver for me. Anybody got a Peloton? We should follow each other. Just throwing that out there, putting that into the atmosphere.
You and that Peloton.
Telling.
Love it.
Yeah. But I really appreciate the answer. I really like how you encouraged us, as far as self-care, things to do. And another thing about quality sleep, it has happened to me where I have gone and just collapsed from exhaustion. So that's that and eating healthy just like really, really helps aid not just in your physical, but your mental health. I'm not an expert like you, Dr. DeLon. I'm just saying it's one of the best taking care of yourself in that way. Really helped me tremendously.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I think sleep is very important, and it can be a challenge for people to really focus on getting adequate sleep, especially I think women who are multitaskers and always sort of thinking about several different things at once. It can really be hard to get that quality sleep, but it is important as far as recovering and our bodies having the opportunity to heal itself from everything that we're going through during the day. And so sleep is very important.
I also really, oh, sorry, go ahead, Jasenia.
No, that's fine. I just want to mention about something that you said as well. Is there about managing stress, right, and finding ways of managing stress? I feel that when I'm stressed out, I have a tendency to eat, and I never like really pay attention to that. And it's just like yoga, right? You mentioned that it's like yoga. Even I find out that walking like releases my stress. And it's been a couple of times that I focus and I say, you know what, I need, and it's not about losing weight as you mentioned, it's about like your health, thinking beyond just the looks, right? It's about like the holistic approach of your health. I've been committed to that a couple of times, and then I caught myself. I'm like, why did I lose track? Why? I finally caught it, and it's stress. It's like if I'm stressed, that takes over whatever my commitment is for my well-being, and stress takes over. But I feel that now that I know that it's stress, like finding a different venue, right? Like to channel that stress and to release that stress. Um, it will help me. And I know it's challenging, right? Very challenging, but it's like so, and the sleep. Anyway, when I'm stressed, I don't sleep. When I'm stressed, I don't eat well at all. When I'm stressed, I lose my routine. Stress is a big like switch for me. And I'm glad that I found like I came to like I came to a recognition of that. That's a big step. I never knew what was going on. And I'm like, why? Then I go back and I recount, like go back to my story and I'm like, wait a minute, I was stressed. What happened? I was stressed. What happened? So it's the common denominator of me losing track of my taking care of my well-being. So anyway, I appreciate that. Those possibilities that you mentioned about releasing stress as well.
Yes, and that is definitely a really good observation that, and it really takes some mindfulness to think about, well, what are some of these triggers for, different behaviors? And because we tend to sort of operate in this very automatic way and not really thinking about that. And so it's really awesome that you took time to sort of self-reflect and think about, well, what are some of these triggers that are causing me to get off of my routine? And stress is one of those things. It's a big thing.
I am forgetting the expression that you used or the acronym in the presentation, but I really appreciate when you were talking about exercise that's not going to the gym, exercise that's ways to weave it into your everyday. Because of two reasons. Like for myself, I'm just someone that like it's not gonna happen. I'm not gonna go to the gym. Like I hate that whole idea of like, oh, we're working out and like I know that I'm not gonna do it, but I can make myself like walk further distances. I can make myself like do more physical stuff when I'm around the house or at work. But also, someone brought up in the chat this whole the environment and the social determinants of health and how it is a lot easier to be well when you are financially well and not living in poverty. And so the fact that a lot of people, don't have access to gyms or don't have access to even like a safe outdoor space. So I think that idea of like, can I park further? Can I walk instead of driving? Can I take an extra lap around the grocery store with my cart? Before I check out, those like everyday things can be really helpful in like making it more sustainable.
Yes. That's an excellent point. And I know for me personally, like as a busy mom, like I don't always have dedicated time to like go to the gym. But if I'm cooking and waiting for something to be done, then I can be moving, like just do a little bit of movement. And so that those are just really simple ways to incorporate it, like as you mentioned, into everyday things that you're doing.
Can I say something else? And I think it is important, right? I love that recognition. When I think about the gym, it's like I think about like stress. Like it stresses me just to think about. And I'm like, it's rigorous. It's like you go there, you're committed, and then I find out like you figure out what is it that you like to do, right? I love to walk. I love to dance, right? And it doesn't. I don't like going to parties either, but it's just like is that one thing to keep you physically going. So anyway, a lot of self reflection has been helping me out. So anyway, I just want to put it out there.
Yes, I think that's really important too when thinking about movement, thinking about what you actually like to do. And that's what is that going to be? That's going to be sustainable versus forcing yourself to do something that can actually be more stressful. I mean, going to the gym and, not lifting weights properly or, overexerting yourself in cart with cardio machines can actually stress the body out more than really help the body. So.
Seeing those women in shape, in beautiful shapes, and here you are trying your best and you still don't lose that weight.
Mhm. Yes, and that's another factor I think that's like maybe Planet Fitness's whole like plan to kind of motivate people to come to their gym because people are there and there's no judgment on what way that people look. So yeah, that is another sort of mental issue that people can face with going to a gym or a barrier that people might face with going to a gym.
Do we have any other questions or comments?
Yeah, Maureen, I really appreciate that you brought up what was in the chat about social determinants of health as well as BMI, because gyms and other places, are a reflection of our society, which are pretty fat phobic, right? And pretty horrible to people of large size. And I am part of the Health at Every Size movement. And we use the term joyful movement, right? And Yesenia, you talked about walking, or some people like playing Frisbee with the dog, or, all sorts of things. I'm interested, Dr. Butler DeLong, how you work with clients and other people who have orthorexia and how that shows up in your work.
Um, I haven't worked with a lot of clients that have that specific issue. But I definitely, as mentioned, I think that diet, I ask people to really focus a lot more on diet first before they even incorporate a lot of movement, because the diet can actually give people the energy too that they need to move.
Right, but orthorexia is the people who are overly consumed with
Mhm.
their diet and, incredibly preoccupied with that it takes over their lives. So how is that managed through your program?
Well, I think that it's because I don't encourage people to count calories, and to focus on that specific aspect. As I mentioned, like calorie deficits can be something that people tend to focus on, and that can
Right.
actually lead to some malnutrition because they may not be getting the right amount of calories that they need to be getting. I think that it's really more about that balance and trying to find that balance. And so balance is not sort of over focus on any one thing, because you need to be able to look at things from a holistic standpoint, and that includes mental wellness as well. So I think that the diet has to be thought of in sort of a balanced way. And when people are getting a balanced, nutritious diet, then that's going to help promote other aspects of wellness, such as mental health.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that mental health piece is really key. Depression came up, and the location of fat cells, I think for, the person sitting in this chair has been trying to relocate fat cells for 30 years. And it's kind of a grand waste of time. Thank you.
Yes, I hear you. It is very difficult, especially I think as people get older. So people over 35, it's our metabolism just sort of behaves a little bit differently. It's harder to burn all the energy that we did when we were in our 20s. And so so that can be a challenge, because typically people are not getting as much movement as they get older, but maybe consuming the same amount of calories, and so that can contribute to weight gain as well.
All right. Well, we are just over time, so I want to be respectful of everyone's time and the rest of their day. Want to once again thank Dr. Butler DeLong for being here and sharing this information with us. I also want to thank all of you for being so engaged and for sharing your reflections on what this has meant for you or brought up for you. Our next CHLC session will be June 25th. At 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, and we will be learning about executive skills and how to harness the power of executive skills. So that will be a great session. Please be on the lookout in your email. I will send a follow-up email with the recording and other materials sometime this week. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you, Maureen. Thank you, Dr. Sherman. Bye-bye.
Thanks,
Thank
Maureen.
you.
Congratulations.